It's Thursday, July 20th, 2023. Today I want to start the video by responding to a couple comments. I'm not going to mention names, and this isn't to be judgmental or to criticize anybody, but we need to speak, we need to talk, we need to communicate. Somebody wrote me last night, and they said that I was very doom and gloom, and this person said, how do you explain the markets near their highest? You are right and reality is wrong, question mark. And again, these people don't get it. They don't get it. There is no connection. There is no relationship now between the stock market and the U.S. economy. You don't get it. When you realize that, then you'll understand there's a problem. But I think a lot of people who make statements like this want to believe everything's okay, because these are the people getting scared. They're the people that are completely unprepared. These are the people that entrust the system to save them. And they're getting scared because they know the system is not going to save them. And they know that the economy is collapsing because they're part of the economy. There's nobody that can add 2 + 2 that doesn't realize there's something broken in the economy, that this economy is on life support right now. But I jotted down a few things, and you know, we've talked about this before, but there are people out there that, you know, they may have a learning disability. And again, this isn't to make fun of anybody, this isn't to judge anybody, but there are people who just cannot retain this, they can't believe this. They have a blockage where they just cannot understand what is going on. So let me break this down for you a little bit. How do I explain, first off, the markets being up? Well, that's really easy. You dump $7 trillion into the U.S. economy over 30 months, things are going to go up. That's number one. We have printed money for the last decade and a half, since 2008, with literally 0% interest rates. Recently now, we've raised those interest rates, but the Fed still has a balance sheet of over $8 trillion. We just dumped $7 trillion in 30 months into the U.S. economy and these markets. You had the Fed buying commercial mortgage-backed securities. You had zombie companies just borrowing as much money as possible. So how could the markets not be up at this point? They've done everything to pump up these markets. So I don't understand how somebody does not see that. Now, are the markets up because the economy is booming? No. Are the markets up because you know, these companies are making so much money? No. These markets are up because these companies were allowed and able to borrow so much money. But now look, they're laying everybody off to boost up margins. So I don't think people want to believe what is going on. Let's dig a little deeper. 70%. Now to this individual, you tell me that everything's okay because the stock market's up, yet 70% of this country is living paycheck to paycheck. We're now, listen to this, $32.6 trillion in debt as a nation. $253,000 in debt per taxpayer. We have a federal budget deficit of $1.36 trillion. Debt to GDP now 123%. We have $192.3 trillion of unfunded liabilities here in America. We have 42.3 million people on food stamps. 40% of this country doesn't have $400 in savings. Credit card debt now $1.3 trillion. And you think everything is okay because the stock market is up? I mean, the stock market is a complete fraud. So if the Dow Jones went to 50,000 next week, you would still believe that the economy is okay. And this is probably an individual who is living paycheck to paycheck, an individual, and I'm not making fun of anybody here, but an individual who probably has no net worth, no assets, living paycheck to paycheck. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope you're making millions of dollars and doing great. But the same people will accuse me of not being optimistic, that I must have a miserable life, that I'm always negative, I don't see anything positive. Let me reassure everybody out there today. I have a very good, comfortable life. 15 to 20 minutes of my day of making these videos. I'm just telling you the way it is. And there isn't too much to be optimistic about when you look at the U.S. economy. Are we out manufacturing the world? No. We have unemployment at 3.6%, and anybody that believes that believes in Santa Claus. Okay, we know it's much worse than that. We are a bankrupt nation. First off, okay, $32.6 trillion of debt, almost over $200 trillion if you add unfunded liabilities. We're running out of ammo. We're running out of oil in this country. And we have a nation that is working paycheck to paycheck that can't even put $400 away. So that's just the reality of it. I've said this many times. If I wanted to make more optimistic type videos, I'd be making car videos, driving around on a Ferrari, filming it and laughing all day and showing you how great that is. I can't do that right now. I can't justify doing that. This is much more important. And this message is much more important than me driving around in a car laughing and showing you how fun my life is. No. This is serious business, ladies and gentlemen, and my life is very positive. I have a very comfortable life because I've paid off all my debt. I live way below my means, and I sleep very good at night. So, you know, I know a lot of people think that I'm just wound up real tight. I'm negative and doom and gloom all day. No, 15 to 20 minutes, we're getting serious. You and I, we're getting serious here, and we're talking about the real problems that we're facing and why we need to be preparing. You know, if a tidal wave was coming, would I sit here and be joking around, clowning around, trying to sell you something? No, I want everybody to be extremely prepared for this tidal wave. And we have 15 to 20 minutes a day to talk about it. There's a lot of new people that are watching. And so maybe it's a little repetitive from time to time, but I'm reporting the latest news. And somebody said, oh, you know, this guy just reads the news and he's doom and gloom. Well, I don't know. Do you want me to make the news up, or should I have a source and report where it's coming from? And then we can all come to our own conclusions about what we think about that article or that news report. I mean, you know, it's just really odd how some people think. But again, these are people who are completely unprepared, who continue to watch because they know that you and I are right and they're very wrong. And hopefully today they're going to start preparing instead of living their lives in fear. Now, that's another thing. I don't live my life in fear. I train daily, either the gym, jiu-jitsu, or I'm at the range. I'm always preparing. I'm doing the best I can to walk the walk. Now, there's people out there watching this video who are prepared 100 times more than I am. But I'm doing what I can do at the moment, and it's the best I can do. Maybe I can do a little bit better, but I'm doing something. And that's really the message to everybody is you got to be doing something. You got to at least be heading in that direction, that you're preparing some way. And if you do that, I think that you're going to be much better off down the road here. But again, I don't want anybody to feel like, you know, I'm doom and gloom, negative. I'm preparing, ladies and gentlemen, and this is, you know, I don't sit here and laugh and joke around. We have 15 to 20 minutes to talk daily and get this message out, and I want to be very direct and very serious with everybody because this is a very serious problem. If I was a doctor and you came to my office and I was looking at your CAT scan or your MRI or whatever, and I said, look, we got a problem here. If we don't fix this, you know, you could die. Hopefully your doctor's not joking around, laughing, you know, and thinking this is a joke. We have a very short period of time here to talk, and we have to be very serious with what is going on here, because we have never been at a point in our life that we're at right now in the history of America. This country has never seen what it is seeing right now. This economy is at a depressionary state right now, and I guess if somebody tells you that it's not enough times, people will believe it. Just look at the stock market. It's in the green. It's in the green. Everything's okay. Wake up, ladies and gentlemen. It's not okay. The stock market's up. Whoopee-doo. Did it change your life today? No, it's helping and benefiting the top 1%. More than likely, you're not really benefiting from it. And more than likely, if you are, you haven't gotten your money out of the market yet anyway. So these markets can change extremely quickly. But moving on, a few things that I do want to talk about, but I want to emphasize, look, I slept 8 hours last night. I'm sleeping like a baby. I don't live my life in fear. I'm very prepared. I'm prepared for confrontation. I'm prepared to talk. I'm prepared to absorb knowledge. I'm preparing to walk closer to God. I'm preparing every day to be a better person and to be a stronger person mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. So I don't want anybody to worry about me. I don't want anybody to think that it's all doom and gloom. No. We're talking right now so that you don't fall into doom and gloom, because that's coming. The doom and gloom is coming. Just take a look. Watch the news for 5 minutes tonight and take a look at what's happening in your cities. Take a look at what's happening in America, from the crime to the chaos. Take a look at what is going on. You don't need me to tell you that. I'm just here to tell you, you better be preparing, because this is coming to a neighborhood near you. American credit scores that got health crisis boosts are sliding again. And here we go again to the same individual who thinks everything is okay. Everything is a big fat illusion. And until you understand that, you're going to be duped. You're going to be bamboozled, and you're going to be wiped out. Credit scores, home prices, stock market, auto sales, retail, you name it. It all got a boost from that $7 trillion that got injected into the economy. GDP numbers boosted because it's the government spending that's boosting up the GDP numbers. It's all propped up by artificial injections of cash. It's not being boosted by a booming economy, by a booming job market, by a booming wage growth. No, it's all being boosted because of all this artificial money. And let's not forget, the Fed still has a balance sheet exceeding $8 trillion. So let me break this down for the people out there that might be a little bit slow. A lower credit score means you are going to have trouble qualifying for new credit lines. This means your lifeline, ladies and gentlemen, gets cut off. If you cannot qualify for more credit, you get cut off and your lifeline is done. And that's exactly what's going to happen to millions of people in America. Wait till student loan payments restart. Millions are going to be crushed as they're forced to divert even more income to servicing their debt, the article says. So think about that. Think about what's going to happen in a few months when those people have to pay that $400 to $500 a month back to these loans, these student loans. So times be a changing, ladies and gentlemen. Here's one from the economic collapse. Tech companies have laid off more than 219,000 workers in 2023. But don't worry, the economy is just fine. It says, that's the economiccollapse.com. Here's another one today. Let's talk about how great the economy is. June home sales dropped to lowest pace in 14 years. As short supply chokes the market. They always want to remind us that it's not the economy, it's just the supply. Well, how about the people right now who cannot qualify to buy a home because they have too much debt, or they were late on a car payment, they were late on a rent payment, and now they can't even qualify for a home? How about these people who are losing jobs? People cannot afford these inflated home prices to begin with. And they don't tell you about people who are going to be forced to sell these homes. You know, the ones that, the Airbnbs that aren't renting out, people who've lost their jobs, people who've gotten divorced, people who were landlords and now just evicted their tenants that have been living there for 3 years. They're selling. They're forced to sell. Here's another one today coming from The Hedge. Cash-strapped consumers travel by bus to destination hotspots. So you have Greyhound and Flixbus. They said their bookings jumped 63% over 4th of July. They were up 70% over Memorial Day weekend. Here's another one from The Hedge. Philly Fed manufacturing survey signals 10th straight month of contraction. Unbelievable. AAA stops renewing some Florida insurance policies, points to 2022 hurricane season. Here's another problem. What happens when people just can't afford to pay the insurance on their homes? When people just can't afford to maintain these homes because their wages are not keeping up with inflation, spouse lost a job, they lost a job. People are not going to be able to insure homes because the price of insurance is skyrocketing. It's going to be another problem for the homeowner. And you have to think, if these people, many of these people in Florida have to sell a home, they're going to have to discount the home, because who's going to buy a home when you have insurance rates literally doubling? The new buyer is going to say, hey, I can't buy the house for what you're asking. I'm going to need a discount because I'm going to have to pay X amount to insure this home. It's going to force prices down. U.S. applications for jobless benefits fall to 2-month low. That number came in at 228,000, down 9,000 from the 237,000 the week prior. Now, this is going to allow the Fed to raise rates. They're going to justify this number, use this number as justification to raise rates. They want to see the labor market tightening. It's not tightening according to this. But of course, see, this can all be manipulated because you have so many people working 2 to 3 jobs just to keep their heads above water. But they don't look at it that way. They just look at it as 228,000, that the labor market is down, or jobless claims are down 9,000 from the prior week. So we have a very, very tight market according to the Fed, even though when you take into account how many of these people, probably 50% of these people are working 2 to 3 jobs. And I will close with this last article. AMC drops plan to charge more for better seats at movies. This is absolutely ludicrous that they would even think about doing something like this with what they charge for these garbage movies to begin with. And I'm watching, these picketers striking in LA now. As far as I'm concerned, the movie industry in Hollywood, it can all collapse, and I wouldn't miss it for 1 second, and I hope it does collapse. So they can picket, they can ask for whatever they want. One of the worst industries on planet Earth is Hollywood. And AMC actually thinking about charging more for certain seats. I mean, who supports this garbage? Who supports Hollywood? Who supports the movie industry? You should really get out of your bubble, get out of your coma, stop drinking the Kool-Aid, stop supporting these groups, stop supporting these sports teams, stop supporting Hollywood. Take your money and support things that you really believe in. And another thing that you really need to do is stop wasting your time and using your brain cells to watch these garbage movies that have the worst messages, no morality. They're a terrible example for your kids. They're just pure trash. And people take their time and absolutely absorb this garbage. Spend your time and your money and your brain cells doing something more positive. Spending time with your family, supporting groups that support what you support. Supporting these organizations that just really don't like you and despise your beliefs. Why? Why even give them a second of your time? Because why even let them into your brain? It's disgusting. I mean, and there's so many people, they'll act like, they're really walking the walk, yet they're going to go support Hollywood. They go and support these teams. How can you be walking the walk when you're actually giving these groups and organizations your money they're going to use against you, and money they're going to use against your beliefs or your so-called beliefs? Because if you really believe in what you're talking about, how can you support these organizations and these groups? They shouldn't get 1 cent of your money. They shouldn't get 1 second of your time. And I think that if America started really voting more with their wallet and their time, we'd be in a much better place today. We really do have the power. People are, we don't have any power. We're powerless. We can't make any change. Stop supporting this garbage. Stop supporting it and see how fast things begin to change. At the end of the day, they need you. You don't need them. I can live without a baseball game. I can live without Hollywood. I can live without their crappy TV shows and their crappy movies. I can live without that, no problem. In fact, I feel like I'm a better person when I'm not polluting my mind and my spirit with that garbage. So that's why I don't support it. And I don't think you should either. But that's up to you. Everybody has free will. Everybody can spend their money wherever they freely want to. But be cautious, because I don't think people understand that money. When you give that $20 for that ticket, how much of that money is going to go back to fight against your beliefs? Think about that. fighting against your rights. Think about that. So I'm going to leave it there today. Please comment down below. Let me know what you think. And because the stock market continues to go up, do you really think the economy is doing well? How many of you, please comment down below. Let me know, do you think the economy is doing well? Do you think it's not doing well? Do you think it's collapsing? Do you think it's doing okay? I think it's doing horrible, to be honest with you. And if things were so great, how come we are taking on so much debt? How come the deficits are getting so big? How come the standard of living continues to decline? How come 70% of this nation is working paycheck to paycheck, and how 40 to 50% of this country that is working a second and third job if things are so great? How come people don't have any money saved up? How come everything continues to get more costly? Just my thought. I'm going to leave it there today. I don't want to rant. Have a great day. Again, comment down below. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to this channel. God bless each and every one of you.